Hi guys, Sam here. I'm doing another video for you today to talk about my POCD journey, how it affected me, signs of it, what it does, how it operates, how to get better, and where I am today. Is mainly to give sufferers hope. Is a theme that I think is the most common theme, especially seeing other people suffer of it, and my experience with it is the most common but least talked about. I'd have thought. I would say it is the most least one talked about for obvious reasons due to the fear of rejection or being misunderstood, etc. I really want to raise awareness for OCD in general, but specific themes like this, any taboo subjects, sexual themes, anything that anyone would be scared to talk about if you didn't know what OCD was and didn't know how it works. So this is the main point of this video, to really help people and raise awareness and give people hope, and you're not alone, you're really not alone. So let's go into how POCD works and how it operates in my experience and going in depth details of it. So the first thing I would like to bring up is avoidance. I avoided pretty much everything. Anything to do with kids I avoided, public places, family members, complete that grip on me it had. It'd leave me housebound. Completely scared of any thought that will come in, any urge, anything like that. It just had such a firm grip on me, and scared of being anxious in a year's time or panicked that. And OCD comes in with the angle that if you could have avoided this and stuff like this, only if you did this, only if you didn't go to this or didn't see that person, didn't go to that event, whatever. And you see OCD working with that trickery, that nonsense it works with, trying to trick you into avoiding. And if you don't know how OCD works and don't know how it operates, then it's so easy to fall for. Everyone, if you don't know what OCD works, I did, everyone did. And it's just make sure you're not avoiding anything. Like I said, I avoided most things. I remember I didn't see family members for years because I was that scared. Kid was there, scared of being panicked, anxious, anything that would come in. And just completely taking over my life, any sort of enjoyment, it was in there on that. And it's a really scary theme, really scary if you don't know how it works. So, like I said, I'm giving this hope and giving you some in-depth into POCD and how it works. But avoidance is massive. Do all you can to cut it out. It will, no matter how you feel, confusion, anxious, whatever feeling that's coming in, do what you can to cut it out. The more you avoid, you're telling your brain there's a bigger threat there, and OCD is going to love that. If you give in to OCD's habits, is winning. Look at it like that. It's going to win and it's going to maintain further. Best thing you can do is just cut it out and feel whatever you feel, and not be scared of whatever might come in, not whatever urge, whatever thought. Not be scared. It's just OCD operating. Okay, so that's mainly avoidance. I don't avoid anything now. It's crucial not to. Whatever OCD is telling me or whatever's coming in, I don't pay attention to it. Don't give it any attention. Don't give it any thought. Just let it do its thing, and then it will lose power along with other things which I'll go into in this video. And next point I'm going to make. This had me for a very long time. Confession. I used to confess any thought, any event that would come in, anything that I would be scared about. I would confess to family members, my girlfriend, therapist, whatever. I used to wake up in the morning and my brain would just be scanning for things or this thought came in at a specific time, or did this happen, did that happen, did I look at them like that, anything that would come up, did I get a certain urge at that time, anything, just scanning, and then boom, within about 2 minutes in the morning I would find something, I'd feel like I'd have to confess, then I'll get some temporary relief for about a day, or shorter than that most times, and then OCD, boom, another angle, something else. So I can't stress enough how confession just doesn't work. It's very hard to resist if you don't know what OCD is and you're so used to confessing. If you don't know anything else, it's like second nature. It needs to cut out. I mean, if you can resist confession, you're doing very well. You're taking a big step forward. Confession is massive. OCD tricks you into thinking confession works. It doesn't. If confession works, I wouldn't be making this video today. I'd be free. I'd be free of OCD. Do you know what I mean? So it doesn't work. Whatever you confess, it then goes on to something else. Oh my God, what do they think of you? Or some other thought, some other urge, some other event, whatever. It doesn't work. Do all you can to cut confession out. It's a dead end. It's a trap. Cut it out. Next, similar to confession, is reassurance. Reassurance is a trap. Dead end, gets you nowhere. You've got to look at it like a drug. It's a very addictive drug with OCD. You think it works, but in reality it doesn't. Like I said, if reassurance and confession works, I wouldn't be making this video today. I'd be free of OCD. It wouldn't be battering me. Mental torture, sorry, like a day later or an hour later, whatever. I'd be, I've had reassurance, that's it, I've done it. It just doesn't work. And it tricks you into thinking it works. But it really doesn't. And just cutting that out is crucial. And if you cut that out, then like I said, you're taking a big step forward. And that takes courage to cut that out, and confession, because the urge and the to be able to resist that is good, and just knowing your future self is pleading you and thanking you for cutting that out, and just living your life and just not going into OCD's trap, because the more you go into that, the more you're likely to be stuck in the future, because you're giving into its bad habits, you're giving it attention, you're giving it what it wants. Cut all that out, do the best you can, but yeah, your future self is thanking you there. Next point I'd like to talk about is mental and physical compulsions and rumination and stuff like that. Mental compulsions is looking at events or a thought or an urge and trying to sort of examine it and trying to get some resolution out of it and solving whatever was going on, or you need certainty. Cut it out. Doesn't work. Obviously very hard to cut out. You can't do it, or you can try to do it overnight, but it takes time and practice. I used to just let my brain do what it wants, not give it any attention, not fear it. If you want to ruminate today, quite painful rumination really, just like headaches and just battering away, that mental fight, that mental battle. Just try to just not engage in it, just cut it out. It doesn't solve anything, doesn't get you anywhere. When has anyone ever done, I solved this by rumination? It doesn't work. The OCD just loves that. It just keeps going round and round and round. You don't come to any solution. And even if you do it, it'll find some other angle or some other thought or anything else that can keep you stuck. And it's just another one of those tricks that you can fall into if you let yourself, and not, especially not knowing what OCD is. You don't know any different, do you? So once you know what it is, you're lucky to have the tools and this page and Instagram and Twitter pages on OCD, especially Rob's page. Just how it doesn't work, and just your future self again is thanking you, just not engaging in that rumination. Let the brain do its thing, and then over time you'll just get used to just not battling with it. And OCD is the way he's not reacting. So it'll start losing its power. You don't care what you ruminate after a while. When I go on to acceptance and disputing later on in the video. Excuse me. And also physical compulsions are similar to avoidance. So avoiding certain areas, avoiding public places, anything like that, needs to cut out. Just thinking it works, it doesn't. It's falling into OCD's trap. It's a dead end. And what I always say to people, for other sufferers, you've got to go at OCD the same energy it goes at you. OCD has no limits, there's no boundaries. It beats you when you're down, it doesn't care how you feel, it really gets it on you. So if you put in the work, go at it the same energy it goes at you. That's crucial, and you'll reap the rewards. But yeah, it takes work and practice. It's not going to come overnight. But just giving up that internal fight with it, but also putting in the work, two separate things. Not trying to fight and figure everything out, that is OCD's trap. But yeah, go at the same energy it goes at you. Affecting sexual times, whatever thought comes in or completely ruining the situation if you let it. I don't care, whatever comes in now comes in, I couldn't care less. And that's crucial, just not fearing whatever comes in. That's massive, and it knows at a certain time, it'll know, you know that you don't want a certain thought at a certain time. So OCD is going to go at that like a Rob puts it, a heat seeking missile. It's going to go like that. It knows as soon as that happens, boom, is in there. If you fear it, take the fear out, it won't happen. Not overnight, but it won't happen as much. And then if you don't care at all, don't fear it at all, then that's it. It is not gonna have that same power and that same oomph as it comes in. So yeah, it's just not engaging in that and doing whatever you're going to do anyway, no matter what's coming in. It's just OCD's trickery, playing games with you, and just really drawing you in. And just later on in the video, I'll go on about unconditional acceptance. If you don't care what comes in anyway, OCD loses all the power and its grip on you. But yeah, just continuing through sexual time, just do what you would do anyway. Just don't stop, don't do whatever, don't avoid it, don't do anything like that, because that's OCD winning. So yeah, knowing your future self is also thanking you there. And freedom does await, like I said in my Instagram post. So that chronic guilt locked on, that's another thing with POCD. Most of my suffering, just that chronic guilt and that panic and just that really not letting you off the hook, that locks on no matter what you do, no matter how you distract yourself, no matter what you go to, no matter how much you drink, no matter how much you try and pleasure yourself, that locked on guilt. But yeah, I'll go into disputing irrational beliefs like I did in my previous video, and also unconditional acceptance. That guilt will start to fade and OCD will have less of a grip. If you can accept yourself no matter what. OCD loves guilt. It knows, especially about the past and mistakes or whatever, really goes on the past because it knows you can't change it. So if you can accept yourself no matter what, OCD is gonna start to fade out and lose its grip there. So yeah, guilt is a big one, but you can work on it if you put the work in practice. Read the books on the reading list, and I've cut out. Well, I don't feel that chronic guilt. If I do, I can look at my thinking. Because if you're feeling that chronic locked on guilt, it is your thinking that's causing that. If you can change your thinking, you change your life. And if that locked on guilt feeling isn't there, then you would enjoy life obviously much more. So yeah, put in the work, and that will start to fade out. So I fade out. Next thing, names, images getting stuck in your head, just like coming in at times you wouldn't want it to come in. If you fear that is going to get stuck in there, a name, or I mean, from quite a young age, just names being stuck in my head, or thoughts, or images, whatever. Just being completely scared of that, and then obviously they get stuck. If you scare them, if you fear them, try and push them out, they're going to get stuck. So don't try and push them out. Whatever comes in, comes in. Give up that internal fight with it, and you'll get to a point you just don't care. You don't give in to. You know what OCD does. You become wise to OCD. I'm so wise to OCD now. I don't fall for the trap. I know what it's doing. Oh, if you're going to bring that in today, fair play. Going to get that name stuck, fair play. Just let it do what it needs to do, and just give up that internal fight. I can't stress that enough. Just sort of don't engage, like separate yourself from it, but do what you're going to do anyway. Don't let it affect you. Don't stop it from doing whatever you were doing. OCD knows exactly what it's doing. If you fear it at a certain time or fear it just at all, OCD is going to go at that hard. It's going to go at that. It knows what you fear. So that's how it tricks you, and that's how it falls you into the I got to fight it off before I clear my life. No, just whatever comes in, whatever's stuck in, just live your life, and just give up that internal fight. Your future self is thanking you. Also with thoughts and groinal responses, Oliver has done a video on this page. It's a brilliant video going into all the details about these themes. You've got to remember, OCD hijacks your feelings. OCD's in the control room is scaring you, and especially if you don't know what OCD is a very, very scary experience. Just know that OCD's is hijack your feelings there. It is tricking you in. It's part of the games it plays, and just don't sort of pay too much attention to that. That's what OCD does, and the less you fear it in the future, the less it will happen. You just won't care. You know how OCD works and how it operates, and it's all parts of the games it plays. So just don't fear it. whatever happens, whatever you feel, whatever comes in, and just don't fear it. Just try you can to not fear it, and disputing unconditional acceptance, and it will lose its grip. All right. So yeah, remember that OCD hijacks feelings there. So I'll go into why POCD is so scary. You've got the fear of rejection by society. That was a big one for me. Constantly going, well, no one's going to like you, so you can't enjoy this, or no one, you can't go out, or you're undeserving of everything because of this, because of that. Just that fear of rejection, going out to a bar or whatever, and everyone just, OCD exaggerates everything. Everyone just shouting at you and just stuff like, oh my god, stuff like that. And it's just working to dispute and challenge those beliefs that even if go to the extreme, go at OCD, the same energy it goes at you, all right then, even if everyone was shouting at me at a bar, it wouldn't be dreadful, wouldn't be completely awful, might be very inconvenient, but it's not, my life isn't over, doesn't mean I can never be happy again, and just stuff like that, just breaking down the beliefs and accepting yourself no matter what, accepting any situation no matter what. Just stuff like OCD is going to chuck at you everything. Same fear of rejection by family and friends, same thing. If everyone rejected you, wouldn't be the end of the world. Wouldn't be ideal. Be quite frustrating, be quite sad, quite regretful maybe. But your life isn't over, and just go and changing your beliefs around that. Because if you hold the beliefs that you need everyone's approval, you need families and friends, love, you need them to survive. If you're saying that, OCD is going to go at a big time, I'm afraid. Just changing those beliefs, and just lowering the fear there. Even if that did happen, it did happen. That's how you've got to go at OCD. Otherwise, it's got no limits. It's got no boundaries. OCD is going to go at anything that you fear. Boom, it'll be on that. All right. So just working on those beliefs around that. Even if that did happen, it might be very, very inconvenient, but not the end of the world. Wouldn't be awful. My life isn't over. Stuff like that. I go in my previous video about the importance of disputing irrational beliefs. I really go into that and just changing the beliefs around that, taking the fear out, and then you're taking a big step forward. So yeah, being alone, no one understands, another reason why POCD is so scary. But same thing, just knowing you're not alone. This is how OCD works, that's how it operates. It goes on whatever you fear. If you fear this the most, it's going to go on it like Rob says, a heat-seeking missile. I love that saying. It's going to go at it like that. Fear of no one understanding, or like I said, being alone. And just even if no one did understand, why must people understand you? Why must people accept you? Why must people like you? And stuff like that. Really go at it OCD hard. Same energy it goes at you. If you're holding the belief that everyone must understand me, I must know exactly, I need certainty over everything, OCD is going to love that. Just change those beliefs and you're taking a massive, massive step forward. Feels like it's real. I remember in my journey, I used to see other people's OCD journeys and thinking that's not like me, mine feels real, mine feels different, stuff like that. OCD is trickery again. It knows that. It's going to make it feel as real as it possibly can get. That's what it does. You just got to go at it, even if it is real. I can accept myself no matter what. Just go in with that unconditional acceptance and disputing those beliefs. Because you're never going to get certainty to clarify whether it is real. OCD's going to get on that hard. If you're worrying that, oh my god, it is real, whatever, OCD's going to love that. So just need to, even if it was real, go in that unconditional acceptance. And yeah, that's what helped with me. I'm sure that's what's helped with many others. Just, you're never going to get certainty on that. OCD's anything with certainty in OCD thrives on that. So accepting yourself no matter what. Yeah, same again, different to everyone else's OCD. That's what I constantly thought with POCD. This one's real, this one's different, etc. Same philosophy, even if it was real. Accept yourself unconditionally. OCD loses its grip. Take the fear out, and you're laughing really. You're taking a massive step forward. If you're taking your fear out, OCD is going to not go at it. Especially with POCD, if you can accept yourself no matter what, OCD is going to lose its grip. Fear of physical harm or whatever, what people might think of you, and it's just, I mean, you're not going to live your life just fearing physical harm, or you might get beat up, whatever. If you do, you do. It'd be very unfortunate, very not good at all. But I mean, you'd rather that and mental torture of OCD. Just if I get beat up, I get beat up, whatever. So it's that, just cutting out that fear of physical pain, and just sort of deal with that. If that did happen, it did happen. It wouldn't be awful, wouldn't be terrible. Working on my beliefs. I tried to deal with the pain or whatever, or medication and stuff like that, but not telling yourself this is awful, this is terrible, this absolutely must not happen to me. No, cut all that out. And OCD is going to get on anything. Like if you fear being beat up or fear being harmed, OCD is going to get on that. It is crafty. That's what it does. It is very cruel. It's a very cruel disorder if you let it be. And that's what I mean. Go at the same energy it goes at you, because it's got no boundaries. So just working on your beliefs, and just sort of not fighting back, but whatever OCD is going to chuck at you, you're prepared. You know how to dispute. You know how to change your thinking and cut out the fear there. Where OCD doesn't know where to turn. It hasn't got a leg to stand on. If you can accept yourself, you can accept a situation, whatever. OCD's got nothing to turn to, has it? So yeah, just putting in the work in there and changing your beliefs. And another one, big one for me, I was stuck with the fear of the guilt being locked on forever. This was before I introduced myself to, was introduced to unconditional acceptance. That guilt fades, but even if this guilt did come back, if I was chronically guilty for ages or forever, wouldn't be ideal at all. But I could still live my life, work on my beliefs to eliminate the guilt, the chronic guilt that OCD latches onto, the not letting you off the hook. Obviously, it wouldn't be ideal, but it wouldn't be awful. My life wouldn't be over and stuff like that. And that's how fear arises. If you're fearing feeling guilty, or feeling panic or anxiety, OCD is going to love that. And this is what I keep banging on about. Go at the same energy it goes at you. It's got no limits at all. So taking out the fear of fear. If I did feel anxious again, if I did feel chronically guilty, wouldn't be ideal at all. Be very inconvenient, but not the end of the world. My life's not over. Wouldn't be awful. Stuff like that. All right. And so the main thing, that's how POCD operates and how it works. I mean, like I said at the start of the video, if you don't know what OCD is, and you're experiencing POCD, must be a very, very scary experience. And I'm hoping you can reach this page and reach out for help, and just see that you're not alone. And it's the most common theme, I think, but also the least talked about. Raising awareness for that. That's what I like to do, and Rob and everyone on this page like to raise awareness and get people talking, because like I said at the start, I think it leads to many suicides and many really bad things of people just being housebound and stuff like that, and it really overtakes your life if you let it. So I want this video to be to getting better and just knowing there is hope and you're not alone, sort of thing. So let's move on to how to get better. What made me get better, and hopefully you can. So when I was completely stuck in it and didn't really know how to get better, just sort of living my life how it was, and just whatever was coming in, I didn't know how to combat it. I didn't know anything about unconditional acceptance and disputing beliefs. But the first thing I did was healthy distractions. I remember when I was really suffering really bad, I would overeat, I would just not exercise, I'd put on quite a bit of weight, just sort of any pleasure, I want to eat fatty food and just not exercising, just being lazy, because that mental torture was just flat out 24/7. So I wanted some sort of pleasure or some satisfaction, so just eating food I like and drinking lots of beer and stuff like that, which I do now, but I exercise loads now. I do lots of running, cycling. I remember I did a half marathon last summer, I think it was, just showing I couldn't even run 1 kilometre when I was really bad, really putting on weight, and just not, because I was just so caught up, I was so internalised in the internal fight I was having. I wasn't thinking about my physical health and the weight I was putting on. And this is what OCD does, this is what POCD does. It keeps you on that locked on. If you let it happen, it will happen. So just cutting that overeating or whatever, any unhealthy distraction, cutting that out, and turning them to healthy distractions such as reading, exercising, whatever, putting in the work, reading books. Just remember, you're so lucky to have this page. But before I even knew what OCD was, and this page, going into those unhealthy distractions. So yeah, exercising, listen to music, just stuff that, but not doing it compulsively or unhealthy to avoid anything. So I still drink now, but I don't drink to try and forget or try and avoid. I drink to enjoy myself, sort of thing. I exercise to enjoy myself. I listen to music. I stuff like I a bit of gaming, whatever, just to enjoy myself. Not doing it to take yourself out of the rumination or the moment that you're in and the suffering. Just getting that healthy distraction in, cutting out that unhealthy distraction. So yeah, that was the first thing mainly with when I first came to Rob, and before I came to Rob, I just started off with that healthy distraction. Number two, or the second point I'd like to mention, is just cutting out all avoidance and compulsions. I mentioned this in my first video, just not avoiding anything, stopping the mental fight that you're in, the internal fight, because you'll just be so locked up in it, and if you're constantly engaging in it, OCD loves that as a trap. Cutting out reassurance, confession, cutting out avoidance, not avoiding any public place, not avoiding any family members, nothing. And it's just so crucial, because the more you avoid, OCD loves that, it's going to feed into that. And if you're really suffering, you probably can't see why or how you can do it, but your future self is thanking you, is pleading you on. And just know freedom does await, like I did mention on that Instagram post. You can't see it now, but honestly, your future self is thanking you. I'm sort of pleading you on that you can get through it, and just putting in the work, cutting out confession, reassurance, compulsions, and rumination, giving up that internal fight. It just doesn't work. Just do all you can to cut it out. You will benefit from that. And then you've got facing your fears head on and exposures. Book sessions with Rob if you can. Just how you can face your fears. Cutting down, lowering the fears and shame attacks and stuff, and just not caring about people's not liking of you or disapproval, whatever, through shame attacks or through exposures. And Rob can set them out perfectly for you, certainly help with me. And then moving on to disputing and challenging irrational beliefs. Now, I did a whole video about this a couple of days ago, how crucial that is with POCD. Changing your beliefs around it, because if you hold really irrational, rigid beliefs, OCD is going to go at that big time. So changing your beliefs, and unconditional self-acceptance, accepting yourself no matter what, accepting other people no matter what, accepting life's conditions, life's disadvantage, or anything, accepting anything in life, what may happen to you. Any unkind situation or quite cruel, brutal situation, accepting that this is a bad thing happening, but not writing off life itself. And same thing with unconditional self-acceptance, not writing yourself off as a person, just because you did this, just because you did that. You're a human, you're not writing yourself off completely. And disputing like nothing's totally awful and just stuff like that. And main thing with POCD, accepting yourself no matter what, and accepting others no matter what. As you gradually begin to learn that, it's a gradual process. You lower the fear. OCD doesn't get onto that as hard. It loosens the chronic guilt and the locked on feeling, as I'm sure most of you are feeling watching this video. Just that completely stuck. So remember, I was there, I've been there for a long time. I'm out of that. Just knowing, really giving you hope and putting in the work, and you can get to a stage where it just doesn't bother you anymore. You don't fear it. You can accept yourself no matter what. And just it really helps with OCD. Accepting yourself no matter what. OCD's got nothing to latch on to. Where does it turn? Nowhere. It knows you're not gonna bat an eyelid to it, whatever it chucks in. Or I can accept myself no matter what. So keep trying, OCD. Stuff like that. Just I can't urge you enough to put in the work and put in the practice. It does pay off. I've reaped the rewards. I'm reaping the rewards now. It does still come back and bite me from time to time, but I know I keep on top of my thinking, and relapses, whatever. Just knowing you're in control, if you change your thinking and adopt that unconditional acceptance. Okay. So that's mainly how to get better. I hope that all makes sense. Just putting in the work, do all you can. Just not giving into the internal fight and the avoidance, the compulsions. Just cutting all that out, the reassurance, the confession, cutting it all out, doing all you can. And your future self is thanking you. Trust me. And last point I'd like to make in this video is where I am today. And going on from the hope I'm giving you, I was in your shoes once. Imagine you watching this video. I was in your shoes. I felt completely stuck, fearful, suicidal, I'd say, housebound, really suffering, really bad. Crying most nights. I just, anything that's gone on in my life, I look back on years and think stuff that I just didn't take in, or I just missed stuff because I was so locked up, so internalized. Rob does say that to me. I was just so locked up in the internal battle. And I'm just so glad that I've broken free. And if I fall back into it, I do. I can work on my beliefs again, and not fearing that relapse or setback that I could fall back into it. I could. There's no certainty that you won't, but if you put in the work, you're more than likely you'll continue your emotional health and keep getting better and more wise to it, more equipped to it. And like I've said quite a few times before, OCD is relentless, it's brutal, it's got no limits. So it's just working hard and knowing that you're in control of it. You control your emotional destiny. And with POCD, it's going to get on that really hard. If you don't change your beliefs or don't accept yourself unconditionally, POCD is going to stay latched on. So yeah, I'm urging you to put in the work and the practice, and your future self will be thanking you big time. So another thing is, like I said, putting in the work, keeping on top of it. It still bites me from time to time. It will do. I have OCD. It doesn't just disappear, and I never get an OCD episode again. I'm still quite relatively early into my journey, but I've made leaps. I've made massive progress, putting in the work, really dedicated to it. But yeah, it bites me from time to time, with not just POCD, other themes as well, but mainly POCD was locked on firmly, chronically. So yeah, other themes, how OCD operates, and just becoming wise to it, becoming equipped to it, and you'll be taking huge steps forward. But yeah, just giving you big hope, and this is where I am today if you put the work in. So I mentioned here I freedom. So I know you don't feel like that in lockdown, but when you come out of lockdown, even in lockdown, I feel free from the mental battle, the mental torture that I used to engage in. Just stuff I think that wow, I was so locked up in that internal battle, and there's no wonder I didn't know how to. I was engaging in the internal fight, the battle that you find yourself in. It doesn't get you anywhere. It's a never ending battle. It's an ongoing battle. There's no end to it. As long as now you know, I hope from this video, to stop fighting with it. The battle never ends. As long as you don't engage with it, and then you won't care. Let the brain do its thing. That's what I'm saying to you. So putting in that work, and freedom does await. Just that freedom where you're not battling with it. You don't care what comes in. You accept yourself unconditionally. I don't care whatever OCD wants to throw up. I don't care. Accepting myself unconditionally. This is what I mean. Going at the same energy it goes at you. It's got no limits. So the energy I go to it. Putting in the work, dedicated and committed to it, and you reap the rewards. I feel freedom. When I go out for a walk or something like that, I just feel wow. I'm not locked up in the fight that I was in. It's amazing, and I can't stress that enough, to put in the work, and hopefully you can get to that stage, but also not fearing. Or with me, not fearing, I might go back to that stage with fear and stuff like that. If I do, working on beliefs and stuff like that. But yeah, no longer that mental torture. And now really, I'd say I was on a mission to help others and raise awareness, especially with these themes like POCD and just stuff that's just not talked about. And it's just knowing you're not alone. You're really not. I would say, it's the most common theme, like I said before. There's help out there. Rob's brilliant, just introducing you to all what I mean with the unconditional acceptance and disputing beliefs, etc., stuff like that. To reach out for help, the best thing you can do. Start off with the cutting out all avoidance, cutting out the internal fight, healthy distractions, exercising, so you're not constantly thinking about your OCD, not thinking about my POCD, what's going to come in next, thinking about, I'm going to go out for a run, just distracting yourself healthily. Because it is very tough, it's relentless, it's brutal. So just that healthy distraction and knowing that things do get better. But I urge you to put the work in, and then you can speed up that process of getting better, and becoming dedicated to the recovery, the process, and trusting the process. But yeah, just giving you that hope that you can get through it. I really want to raise awareness for this. It's still so much in the dark. It's come a long way, with Rob's page and other pages. It's come a really, really long way, which is great. But it's still in the dark. You still have the stereotypical sayings about OCD, which no one has to understand you. You've got to remember that. They don't need to understand you, but I'd much prefer for them to understand OCD and how it operates. And for people who might be suffering with OCD that they don't know, they don't know that this is how it works and this is how it operates, and it is a common disorder. And going back to you're not alone, and there is definitely help out there. It's the best thing you can possibly do, trust me. My life's changed massively for it, and I'm just very grateful that I've stuck with it, got through the tough times, the really tough times, and just keep pushing on, go into what I wanted to do, go into work, etc. Exercising, even when just digging deep and just pushing through it, knowing that now you've got the tools I'm giving you, tools on this page, the reading list, stuff like that. You've got all the tools there. It's down to you to put in the work, but I'm really encouraging you to do that, because look where I've got today. I've, not from just a personal point of view, but from other people as well, putting in the work, and it's great to see people who have suffered really badly to come through it, and knowing you can get through it. It's just brilliant to see. Really good. Makes me happy seeing people get through OCD, knowing how tough and how brutal it is and how relentless it is. So yeah, I'm giving you big hope today. I really hope this video helps. For people stuck in these with POCDs, really stuck and just feel completely hopeless with it, and just know where to turn, that constant guilt, that panic, that anxiety through the roof. Trust me, I've been there. I know how you feel watching this video, knowing put in the work and you can do it. Reach out for help, best thing you can possibly do. That's it for me, really. I think I've covered most things there. Like I said, I want to raise awareness. I want this to be a game changer video, really helping people, breaking the stigma, really getting people talking and just helping others, and just raising awareness for OCD and all these themes, POCD, anything guilt, and these themes that just aren't talked about. Raising awareness for that, because I think that's what keeps most people stuck. And knowing, trust me, you're not alone. OCD will go at you hard, so go at it hard back, putting in the work and the practice. I think that's everything I've covered. I hope you really enjoyed this video. I hope it's really helpful to you, and trust me, you can get through it. But yeah, thanks for watching. Take care.